she doesn't have them on yet. Yeah. Perfect, thank you. And the thing comes out. Yeah. Sometimes that's good. The first thing that we say is not always the best thing. We should, something that gives us time to think about what we're going to say. All right, thank you.
What's his name?
No, I got to get that.
He was talking in generalities. He was talking how they could put some in the same.
Well, did you have a good weekend?
Had a great weekend, yeah. Sunday,
Right.
my mom didn't want to do anything for Mother's Day. Elizabeth's one didn't, so Elizabeth just got to kind of hang out at home. Made her breakfast and cut her a flower out of the yard. So it was a good day. We left them going on water.
And it's easy to do that because it sounds like
We went to Washington.
but in reality, all you're doing is just run.
The border, Riverstone.
I noticed
How are you,
that
brother?
they're really
$20?
it's classic
Jamboree chicken.
You know, it's just
Mac.
like
This guy cost us more money than
we don't win.
Yeah, he wins.
I never won.
I think
never
he puts
won.
his name.
It's a little click up there north for it.
Yeah.
it wasn't even a solution. We're going to get a task force. Well, getting a task force is
Just $20.
Just $20. $20 here. That's by 1,000 cuts. Don't you have change? Save some money.
Now we got it. Too late.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, are there any additions to the agenda?
No additions, Mr. Chairman.
County Council, will you please read into the record the closed session items?
Yes, Chairman and members of the board, there is one item for today's closed session. Although there are 2 items listed on the agenda, there are no items under labor negotiations this week, and so the only item is under Government Code Section 54956.8, conference with real property negotiators. Your agency negotiator is your county administrative officer. Under negotiation is price, terms, and conditions of sale, exchange, or lease for property located on 47053 Road 201 in O'Neill's. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment regarding the closed session? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment portion. We'll go back to closed
We
session.
didn't talk about it, huh?
David. All right. Welcome back to the regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Today is Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. Time is about 10:01. I'll call this meeting to order. And are there any additions to the agenda? I forgot to ask, or did I ask earlier? Okay, perfect. We're going to open and close the meeting in memory of. Is there? Yes, sir. Tom?
We all, I think, knew Mary Alice Casalosian.
Caloostian.
How do you say her last name? Caloostian? Caloostian. She was a great lady. She worked for 3 senators and Assemblyman Chuck Pashayan, Dave Cogdale, and Tom Berryhill. And I had no idea she was even sick or anything. Letty, a great chief of staff, called last week and told me that she had passed away. I still can't even believe it. She was at so many events, so many things. She represented those guys so well and was a great friend of Madera County. I mean, she went to many of our events and I don't know, it really struck me when I heard about this one. So,
Yeah.
I know. Me too, buddy, I tell you. And I don't know when the service or anything else, but if they're even having it, but I'd like, if we could just send them something from the board, I think it'd be very, very appropriate, so. We got our feedback on this thing is ringing. I can hear it in my ears. I know I'm dingy, but. That's all I have. Thank you.
Also have one very sad one. Someone young, however, they lose their life. It's always tough, but Richard Taylor, who passed away in a car accident just about 2 weeks ago. Just wanted to open and close in his memory and keep his family in our prayers. All right. Anyone else? All right. We'll have the invocation by Pastor Tim McGraw. And Superintendent Lyle, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
So Lord, thank you. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your great love for our city and all that goes on here. Today, Lord, we ask for your favor on all the decision making. We ask your blessing on our city leadership. We ask, Lord, that what happens here will lead to improvement of quality of life, of hope, of people enjoying life and flourishing in all dimensions of life. Thank you, Lord, that you love us. You're the author of life, and we ask your blessing now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. County Council, was there any reportable action in closed session?
No reportable action from today's closed session.
Thank you. Item 4, public comment. Madam Clerk.
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Is there any public comment today? Wow.
That's the first in a long time. Don't anybody just wanna
Silence
come up
gives
and say
consent.
something? Wow. Huh.
By the
I
way,
will-
I'll do something under public comment, just because we have time. We're having the county fair this week in Chowchilla. The parade will be Saturday, and the fair begins on Thursday at 3 o'clock, the grand opening. And look forward to seeing everybody out there. It's a great country fair. If you've never been to a country fair, this is very special. A lot of animal husbandry, a lot of things take place, 4-H, and FFA, and all of the good things that kids are involved in. Just a really great time for a family.
Great.
Thank you.
Oh, see what you did? Now the floodgates are open.
I stimulated.
Sit down.
Hey, simmer down. Tracy Kennedy, Madera County Treasurer Tax Collector. I just wanted to inform you, our tax defaulted land sales start Saturday. The last time to redeem your parcel, if it's on the list, is Friday at 5 o'clock, and we're down to 19 parcels. So, anyway, so you can file as a bidder if anybody wants to bid on it.
So any of us can bid?
Huh?
We can bid?
I think so.
Oh, really?
As long as you don't have anything to do with setting values or the collections and things.
Well, if I owned half of them?
Excuse me?
I said, what if I owned half of them?
Oh, well, then you should pay your taxes.
We do.
You can't afford them, buddy.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Amal Afiyat, Public Works Director. From our April 9th workshop, the payment management system, your board directed us to look into some ways to vacate some roads or convert some roads to, make them gravel or dirt roads. And I have a feeling that you're expecting this to happen maybe this month or very soon. I'm just want to update you. We are working on it, but this is it's a more time-consuming process than we thought. We're still dealing with our consultant, with your districts as well. So we'll be coming back with some recommendations for what you asked.
Thank you. And Ramadan Mubarak.
Thank you very much to all Madarians. Yeah, happy Ramadan. Thanks.
What's that?
Supervisor, Ramadan is a month of fasting for the Muslims. So
You eat a whole bunch of food?
at sunset, yes.
Sunset, yeah.
From dawn to dusk we fast. So, and then we
Don't
break
gain
the
too
fast.
much weight.
Well, yeah,
You
we
can't,
eat a
you
lot.
can't afford it.
Thank you very much.
All right, if there's nothing else, and I'd like to recognize our Superintendent of Madera Unified School District, Todd Lyle. Thank you for being here. Todd was my football coach my sophomore year, taught me many a life lesson. I'll always be thankful to him. So,
I'm glad somebody helped him, Todd, so you did good.
I'll close public comment and bring it to consent calendar.
Ding.
It works this time.
Real quick, this time. You can't find none of those resolutions over all those years. Have you talked to Tanner or Bonnie Holiday about that? It's on those updating imposition and allocation of county criminal penalties, fees, and fines?
Right. We've done extensive research on that, and we've looked through all of our archives, and we've been working with the court system and with the auditor's office as well, and you're correct. Depending on how it was filed, we've looked under every possible word search we could think of, and we only came up with one, which actually the auditor's office found. So, yes, unfortunately, we were not able to find the past ones.
You couldn't, did you talk to Bonnie or Tanner to see?
So I did reach out to Tana. I did not reach out to Bonnie.
Oh.
No.
Because, I mean, these are pretty old from what, by the backup said, so. It's kind of weird not to find, if we can't find him, how many other ones can we not find?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, the Board of Supervisors. Jim Boyajian, Assistant Auditor Controller, retired. Yes,
What are you doing here? He said you retired.
just volunteer.
Somebody's got to hold Todd's hand, right?
5 years ago.
You're right. These go back, some of them go back to 1971, 73, 78. And those files in our office have not been found either. We have files from former Auditor Controller Robert DeWall, but they do not include the resolutions. We found the one, that was
Wow.
it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but this was all brought to everybody's attention by an audit that state controller is conducting, well, not state controller, the Office of the Court Administration
And
is
like it
conducting into the courts, and they questioned the courts, and they contacted us and said, well, maybe we can't continue collecting these. So I said, well, we'll just renew all of the resolutions.
So I
And
see
that's
there's a
what we're
lot of them,
proposing.
so it's covered everything.
Right. County Council.
I mean, I lose all that money, it's quite a bit, so,
Yeah.
man. Thank you.
Yep.
Jim. Thank you, all of you who worked on that. It's kind of weird. I just can't believe that we've lost that many of those over those years, so. And where it's probably in some special file that says collectibles. Anyway, then, thank you, Jim. M, N, and O, they're all together from IT.
Maintenance and operations,
Yeah.
M&O.
Yeah. I don't, it says on the back of it, it's 2018 to 2019, every one of these. Now, it's running out next month, those dates. Is this for next year, or is this past what we've already done? And I don't understand, it says on M, it's the log vault up to 250 devices. Is that in 1 year, or is that forever, or what does that mean?
I'm going to have Mr. Rohde go ahead and explain about how many logged devices there will be. In terms of the payment, I believe that how that's done is when it's entered into the auditor's office, the expenses that are charged to this year are charged to 18-19, and then we are budgeted to continue this program into 19-20. So I do not.
So it would have to be paid that 19 again, or is this just for the 18-19?
It will be paid on an annual basis, so it's a 12-month service. So I believe that the payments for May and June would be charged to fiscal year 18-19, and then the remaining 10 months will be charged to 19-20,
Oh, I see.
which we are budgeted in 19-20 for both M and N.
Yeah, and O?
O is a one-time expense,
Oh, okay.
and that's because we've ran out of places for people to sit with our
I figured
allocated
that was the
positions.
backup. What I didn't understand on that one was I tried to figure out the size, there's no size. I'm trying to figure out what it costs for that carpet. For two little stations like that, I didn't think they're very big. I mean, it's $1,900, $1,928 for the carpet, and the labor is $1,300. How big of an area is that? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how much square foot that's costing us, and I can't,
Okay, I will get the size for you in just 1 second. I'll go ahead and have you estimate what that size of that room is, because I'm not going to be very good on that.
Thing and measured, it said 3.2 between the desk and the wall, and then I tried to multiply that out, and I came out with 20 foot, 16 by 28, but that seemed like pretty big for two little stations, but I don't know.
Well, it's actually, we're actually adding, it's going to be 6 workstations, because right now we do
Well,
have.
3 and 3.
3 and 3, yes, 3 and 3. So there'll be 6 workstations. We're thinking of using those as a fluid. People can walk in, they can plug their laptop in, they can walk out, because we have extra help employees as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they look
Yes.
pretty cool. I mean, I just didn't quite understand. I always look at those kind of costs because some of these people really try to stick it to us when they're doing a job like this. And that just seemed high to me, $7,000 for whatever that size is. Because I've done some stuff just now up there and it wasn't that much for big rooms, a house.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'm sorry. Mr. Supervisor Wheeler, we do scrutinize the bids. They come in, Kitchell Construction Management usually conducts the process for us, and we'll collect multiple bids and select our lowest bidder.
So we have bids on it?
On this particular one, I can't say for sure.
With a pre-bid contract core
Okay.
at the direction of building maintenance.
There we go. And we have pre-bid pricing on the state contract for their service, so it's already been
Would you
gone
just
through a
give me the
competitive.
size and I can judge whether I think it's too high or not later? Can you get that, Bruce?
We'll get the size of the room.
Okay, you don't have to do it right now. I mean, you know, just get
And the labor is going to be a lot different than what you could pay in your house to do it, because it's going to have to be prevailing
Oh,
wage
that's right,
and all that. So the cost per square foot.
We got to pay prevailing wage when we're not using loans or grants or anything?
Yes, in anything even closely associated with us, we have to pay prevailing wage.
And with the grants that we do, that's because it's government money, which any money that we spend is government money as well,
Yeah,
so it
I
would be
guess it
prevailing
is.
wage.
Okay, but then those other two, M and N, that's, maybe he can,
And yes, and I will turn it over to Mr. Rhodey to explain the number of devices and how that works.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Brian Rhodey, Deputy CIO. So ultimately what we do is we try to prioritize our devices to keep costs down. In addition, this is the first time that we've used this service from this organization. So we want to ensure that we're not going too deep into the process with this company and spend too much money before we know exactly how it works.
Oh.
So what we're doing is we're choosing our 250 most valued assets, and we will monitor those devices. And then once we see how that goes, we'll choose on whether we want to add to that service or not, or maybe go away with it altogether and find another service.
and then on N, it's 50.
That's correct. And you can see that the cost is significantly higher.
Yeah, about 3 times.
Correct. And the reason being is this is 24/7, 365 days a year. We're having an external company monitor our security for 50 of our highest valued assets. So, for instance, the internet firewall, where all of our traffic is coming in and out, devices like that will be monitored all day long, all year long, to ensure that we have the highest protection possible.
Okay, so let me get it straight then. So it says this is a period of 12 months, beginning 2018, 2019. I mean, it's just that, you use that just because it's our budget year now?
Correct.
And
It's just
like
where
you
it
said,
fell.
Tanya, so it'll be these 2 months, or a month and a half, what it is now, and then the rest of it will be in the 2019 and 20 budget.
That's correct.
Okay, that makes it clear for me, 'cause that's what I didn't understand. If we was gonna pay that for the 18, 19, and then right off the bat, in a month and a half, we have to pay it again.
Okay, yeah, no, and the funds are budgeted next year in 1920, provided that's passed by the board in June, but those funds are budgeted in 1920.
Thank you very much for the explanation.
Yep.
I'm clearer now, boss.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, I want to give you a large compliment. IT has been out in front of a pending problem that has become a serious issue in other counties. Imperial County was, their IT system was hijacked, put up for ransom by cyber terrorists. And of course, they didn't pay, but it cost them $1.7 million to get their services back online after 3 weeks without them. The county was at a standstill. So we're way out in front of this issue because our IT department and because of the planning that has taken place at the county level, and we're saving money as a result of not having these issues take us by surprise. So
Yeah,
congratulations, IT.
Yeah, I remember when we first started looking, when you were first bringing it to us, I thought, well, what do they want with Madera County? And I think you go the path of least resistance, right? You don't go after the big ones because it's, when we were at the CSAC convention and Imperial County was talking about how their entire system was down, couldn't collect money, couldn't pay money out, couldn't do. Wow. There was all this information that was out there that was valuable information. So I do appreciate what you all are doing to protect us. And it was just one of those things that was like right there in our face, said, oh, we need to be doing this.
When I don't think it was hacked, they said it was that when I got that email, 2 weeks ago, you guys covered that, and thank you, Tanya, for that too, because they said the same thing to me, that they were watching me. They even took pictures of me, it says, through my computer, through the county computer. So they'd be surprised they took a picture of me, boy, I'll tell you. So anyway, thank you, Tanya, because that, when I first read that, I sent you, Jay, the DA, him, Gene, and everything, because I was thinking, how in the heck can they do that? Because I'm dumb on this stuff, boy, I'll tell you.
Tom, did you ever get that 10% of that Nigerian prince's fortune? I
got 5% of it, waiting for the other 5 to come. But thank you, guys.
Really quick, the attack on Imperial County is very scary, and that's the kind of stuff that I think Brian, myself, and Bruce will all say. It keeps us up at night. It is scary because the criminals are getting smarter and smarter. They're coming worldwide, and we're always doing our due diligence to keep the county as safe as we possibly can. But there's always the risk that we could fall victim of a crime at any time. So we're doing our due diligence. We're doing everything we can to prevent that. But it does keep us awake at night. That it is a scary thing. I mean, when you brought it up, you really feel for Imperial County.
Yeah.
By the way, this also says a lot for our planning process. Was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago at the county planning sessions that we hold up at Bass Lake, we spend 2 days doing our strategic planning at Bass Lake with the staff and the Board of Supervisors. This is one of the things that came out of that process. Right. We were really concerned about cybersecurity and what was going to happen with that. We began the planning at that point, moved forward with it. We were ahead of the curve, and we beat them at their own game to this point. So,
and to be honest, we weren't worried about it. We had no idea.
They brought it to us.
They brought it to us.
They brought it to us, and but it came out of that process. So it's how would we ever know about it had it not been delivered by IT to our doorstep and discussed as a team? That team effort's really benefited the county in many ways, and just a good example of how management bringing these things to our attention is important.
One step ahead.
All right, is there any other questions on consent calendar? See none. Is there any public comment regarding the consent calendar? I'll close to public comment, bring it back to the board for action.
I'll move to approve.
I hit the button already, but that's okay. I'll second it. I'd already hit the button to put it, so.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Well, even though we tried, we didn't quite get to 10:30, so we can't have the public hearing just yet. Unless David,
5-minute
you want
break.
to talk? So we'll start with 7A, Board of Supervisors Department. Oh, sorry, you can read that, Madam Clerk.
7A, Board of Supervisors Department, District Number 3, recognition of Madera High School Robotics Team, 1323 World Champions.
Bob, you want to start? And then I'll...
Certainly. We are honored today to have the world champions for the high school robotics program. I was talking to a couple of members earlier and just talking about what the magnitude of this thing is. And I was saying, okay, we can say world, but do we really understand what that means? I mean, we're talking about 7 continents. And then our chairman brought up the fact that maybe Antarctica, probably didn't have a contributor, but the other 6 did. And I mean, it's just an awesome thing to behold. And the good news is the entrants or our team members were so focused on winning and the project at hand that that's probably what got them there to become world champions, is they weren't all caught up in the moment like, oh, look where we are and this and that. I mean, it was just focus on winning, working as a team, and to think about right here in Madera High School, which many of us are alumni of, we are the world champions. So it was a journey that has taken a long time, just not this year, but it's taken 18 to 20 years to get up to this point and to build a momentum. And it's really a game changer in a lot of ways. I've always proposed the idea that, or supported the idea that when people look for places to live, they don't really investigate the county of Madera or the county organization. Like, let's take a look at those board of supervisors, or I wonder how they collect taxes here, or I wonder how the county clerk office works, or even the city they live in. I mean, they just expect to have good policing, and you turn on the faucet and water comes out. But it's the reputation, but it's what people really look at that have a choice where they want to live. The number one thing a family looks at is schools. And the fact that we have the number one robotics team in the world is going to be a game changer for our community. And rather that at times we get people kind of flying over Madera, this time they're going to be landing in Madera. And it has so much to do with the great achievements of these young men in our school district and the great strides that are being made. So with that, I think it'd be appropriate to hear from some of our coach and a few of the teammates in terms of maybe some of the what the journey was about and what your thoughts are.
Yep.
So feel free to come on up to.
Yeah, and I'll just make a couple statements too. When I was first introduced to the robotics team, I was over at Gary Savanda's office probably in 2011, and this pickup truck pulls up, and there's a big robot on the back of the pickup truck, and there's a bunch of kids unloading it in the parking lot. And they were doing that because they were out trying to fundraise, right? They were hustling to keep this program going, and they were out there doing it. It wasn't just the standard. I mean, we get how many letters a year asking for money. These were kids going out with a love for what they were doing and making that face-to-face interaction with the business community and showing that passion. And it was easy for us to reach into our pocket and give $100 right then and there because there was that dedication to it. And it was pretty cool too. We got to see a robot in the parking lot shooting baskets. But when you talk about the world championship and we had a state championship soccer team, and we've had valley championship football teams and basketball teams and all that. And when you look at those champions, of those teams, they're great. Maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 kids will go play at the next level. And then after that, after college, maybe one time in a generation are you going to have someone that actually can go pro and make money based on the skill that they had learned. Where you look at what you guys have done is not just create a champion, but create a path, a future for these kids to go, and immediately you put world champion robot builder or programmer or scout or whatever the job was on that team. Immediately you move to the top of people's list in that field. I would imagine there's tons of scholarships in terms of STEM right now that can help these kids get to that next level in robotics that is few and far between in the athletic pursuits. And so I just think it's an amazing thing to allow for these kids real world skills that are going to be so important in this automated world that we're starting to get to. That robots can replace a lot of jobs, but it's going to be hard for a robot to build a robot. I mean, you can after, but someone tries to build that first robot that builds the next robot that builds it. So at some point, someone's going to have to build that robot. And so I've talked to Todd. We're going to work on maybe making a pepperoni machine that gets onto pizza with you, but we'll figure that out later. But you all beat teams that were sponsored by Google from right here in Madera County. If that doesn't make you proud to be from Madera, I don't know what will. My wife and I had gone to the parade, and you showed the video, and I was kind of embarrassed that my wife was going to see me. I had tears rolling down my eyes for the pride that I felt in being from Madera, and the pride for the kids. And I looked over at her to make sure she didn't see, and she's bawling too, because she went to Madera High and felt that same pride. And that's what you've really done for our community, is make us feel like this is the place to be, right? And when we go out and talk to these different companies and wanted to bring them here, and economic development is huge for our board, for the city council, for the whole area. Fresno, Fresno's going to piggyback on you guys too. They're going to say the Central Valley has the world champion. They're not going to say it's from Madera, but they're going to say we have the world champion robotics team here. But when we go and talk to these, I used to think it was just enough to say, hey, we have cheap dirt, right? Why wouldn't you want to build here? It's cost so much in the Silicon Valley. Come here, our land is worth, and they don't care, because that ongoing cost is, do you have a qualified workforce? And we can go out now and say, yes, we do. And you guys have given that. Your championship is going to make this area better. And I want you all to know that we feel like we're standing on the shoulders of giants with you when we go out and talk to these people now. So thank you for that. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you, guys and girls, if you had any girls on your team too. Yeah, I thought that. Sarah Anderson's here. Her daughter was on that team. They actually brought the basketball robots and put their baskets here and had a game right here in front of us. They did that one year. And were you on the board then, Brett? Maybe it was just before.
No, I saw it across the street.
They put it over there for the city council, so I want to see it too here when you guys get a chance. That was really great. So I'm always bragging about Madera County is the biggest little county in the state of California, and the best place to work, live, and play. You guys just made it that much better. I mean, it's been in the papers, it's been on the news, everything else. So I just want to thank you guys, and you got a great future ahead of you. So much so.
Supervisor Rogers?
I'll be brief. I think somebody needs to bring this to attention of the governor, let him know. And also, I'm a strong believer in the trades and in teaching the trades at a school level. There are a lot of young people who will, really college isn't for them, but a trade will excite them, and they'll go on in that trade and do amazing things. And I think this is one of those areas that really brings people along. I lived in a generation where we had mechanical drafting and we had all the wood shop, metal shop, et cetera, and I took every class they offered in that. And it really inspired me in my career choice as a general contractor and engineer. So I really think that you guys have the opportunity to encourage others in this regard and bring this alive for our region. It really is an awesome thing. Thank you and congratulations.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Gracias, muchachos, por lo que hicieron. We're very proud of you. The community is all proud of you. That's all they talk about since this event happened. So, muchas gracias.
Mr. Chairman, do these guys still have time to talk?
Yes.
Or, now you learned about what hot air from politicians means.
Not quite sure what you guys want to say.
I think hit the button there. Is it?
Tell us what you did. Tell us about your project.
Well, my name is Vern Belmonte. I'm one of the instructors at Madera High. I teach engineering and manufacturing, as well as the robotics coach advisor. And this year, we just had an interesting game of placing these objects, these balls into the cargo ship as well as the rocket ship, along with the hatch panels that we had to keep on the rockets to actually keep the cargo from rolling out. And with these gentlemen behind me, Roger and John, who are our captains this year, they just did a phenomenal job, and with their hard work and ample amount of time they spent with the program, they put in at least 200 hours in the first 6 weeks. So that's not including their homework that they had to do for school. So it's besides that. So they're there after school, just working and programming and driving and making sure this robot worked phenomenally. So with that, I'm gonna let our captain, Roger here, speak a little bit about the game and what it was more about.
Hi guys, my name is Roger. Pretty much what we had to do is kind of what he said. It's also a 3 versus 3, so it wasn't just us competing against the world. We had an alliance, and that alliance was actually all from California. So the people that we played with was all California teams, and the teams that was in the finals, when to determine everything, was the alliance was actually the 2-time world reigning team. So they won the world championship back to back. And this year they could have won it back to back to back, but unfortunately we took the win. And yeah, we took the win.
Unfortunately, unfortunately for them.
No, unfortunately for them, we took the win. Yes.
They were sleeping.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess something that I just want to point out as well is because of the community does support us. Madera Unified supports us a lot. They gave us brand new machines this year, which definitely helped increase our production in robotics. This year, then almost I want to say 99% of the robot was made in-house at the school, so right next door to our machine shop. Everything was manufactured there, assembled there, wired there. So that was really cool to see that every student was able to run pretty much industrial machines and build, a world-class robot this year. And with we also had a great support from the community with mentors. So all our mentors are pretty much alumni from Madera High School or in the Central Valley, and that just goes to show how great the Central Valley is too, because we compete against teams that only had mentors or support from these big name companies like NASA, Google, Boeing, and we took them out. So that's just something great that, yeah, something good that happened. And then I think that's it. Mr. Todd Lyle did give me these newspapers. If you guys could let me pass these out to you guys. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, my dad shared a story. They were at the Vineyard. I think your team was at the Vineyard with Central Unified's robotics team. And Melissa, you were there. I think Chris and my dad tried to buy their dinner, but the Central team came over and said, no, we want to buy their dinner because they took us under their wing and helped us to get our program up and running. And my dad just was blown away at the class that you all show, that you're training your competitors. But you have such a love for what it is that you're doing that even if you're training your competitors, it's only going to push that forward. And he just thought that was the classiest thing. I just wanted to pass that on, that you guys, not only are you winning, but you're winning with class. So thank you.
So how many are on your team?
Yeah. So we have about 25 kids officially on the team, and we usually cycle around 60 every year. So kids come from Madera High, Sherman Thomas, and Madera South. So we usually take most of the kids that are enrolled in Madera High and any other private schools that are interested in robotics. We're pretty open to them as well.
We had 19 of these to give out to everybody, but I think this shows that robotics team would rather be in school. Usually we do these things and everyone takes as much time as they possibly can to get over here and get out of school, but I think it shows a lot. So we'll come down, we'll take some pictures, act like we did something, and hand you these, and we have a plaque also here to hang at the school. And I've got. John Akana. Congratulations.
I'm sorry.
Roger Villagomez. Is that, yeah. And Vern Valmonte. Every year I get to be in this position. The year I was the mayor was the first year that we had the tournament here hosted at Madera South. And I got to say, you know, as mayor, you never want to say that your city is being overrun with robots. And then this year, so we're just so proud of you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
That's where the emphasis should be, is the trade. Yeah. Yeah. State football champions. Yeah, that's just phenomenal. That's what it is. And it happens over and over again in our little small community, you know? Says a lot.
If you guys could
watch how the board meeting works out.
Yeah, that way you can learn how to automate a robot to take over a politician's job, so these things could go a lot quicker, right? Good. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Basically, the way to solve that would just be to get some duct tape
That wouldn't even solve it.
and apply it firmly over the mouth.
We'd still be mumbling something. We have an incurable disease. It breaks out under the nose and there is no cure.
All right, now we're after 10:30. Public hearings, 6A, Auditor Controller Department.
Auditor Controller Department, hearing to consider adoption of a resolution approving the property tax administration costs and fees for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Good morning again to Chairman and Board of Supervisors, Jim Boyadjian, Assistant Auditor Controller, retired. Annually, the Auditor Controller calculates what we call the property tax admin fee, which allows the county to recover a portion of the approximately $3.5 million we currently spend every year administering property taxes and collecting and apportioning property taxes to all the taxing entities in this county. The calculation has been performed in our office. Previously, we presented the report to the Auditor Controller, and you set the date for the hearing today, which is an opportunity for all entities which are affected by us recovering our costs to appear and address the report with any of their concerns. And we're here today to answer any of their questions or additional questions the supervisors may have. That's basically what I have to say.
Are there any questions? See none. This is a public hearing. Any members of the public wishing to make comment? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public hearing, bring it back to the board for action.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler? Yes. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Yes. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Good job again, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Keep on rolling.
And 7B.
7B, County Administration Department, Human Resources Operations Division. Introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 2.35 of Title II of the Madera County Code pertaining to the reorganization of the Public Health Department to include the civil service exempt department head classification of Public Health Officer. Waive the first reading and set the second reading for May 21, 2019.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Adrienne Caleb reporting this morning. This is an item that is brought before you on behalf of the Public Health Director. She's determined that in the best interest of the services to the constituency of Madera County, that in the long term it would be best served to have a medical director over public health programs. And this item before you today is the first step in making that a realization. The next board meeting will be the second reading, as well as detail about the specifics of the position and the recommended salary level. And I'm open for any questions.
I'm talking to our IT guy because it's ringing. Can you guys hear the ringing?
Yeah. That's feedback.
That's what I said.
It's on. It's on. Am I not close enough?
No, no.
No, it's not you.
It was feedback.
It's
Oh, I'm
feedback,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear it.
No, you couldn't, but we can hear it. It's kind of weird. So when I'm doing all this, I'm talking to our IT guy back there.
Are there any other questions regarding the item?
Great presentation.
Yeah, great, yeah. And I think it's just something we really need to do, so.
Are there any members of the public wishing to make comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment
I make
portion.
a
Bring back
motion to waive the first reading and set the second reading for May 21st, 2019.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second, Madam Clerk.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
7C.
7C Fire Department, Fire Station Consolidation. 1, discussion and consideration to consolidate Station 16 in Awani with Station 12 in Oakhurst. 2, discussion and consideration to consolidate Station 17 in O'Neill's with Station 10 in Yosemite Lakes Park.
Chairman, Board of Supervisors, Mount Washington, Assistant County Fire Chief. I'm before you today to recommend the consolidation of a couple fire stations. The consolidation of Station 16 in Awani with Station 12 in Oakhurst. Additionally, the consolidation of Station 17 in O'Neill's with Station 10 in Yosemite Lakes Park. While the concept of consolidation may be perceived by some as adverse, the purpose is the improvement of services of the county citizens by purposely allocating dollars in a meaningful way. For a fire department to be effective and successfully mitigate emergency situations, it must maintain an adequate, well-trained staff of emergency service personnel to utilize the equipment and apparatus. We need to focus budget dollars in areas where they will be best utilized. Since the county doesn't have the discretionary funding to support the needs of 15 fire stations, we need to find a way to do more with less. This is the goal of consolidation. In looking at the current operations and performance of Madera County Fire Department, a couple opportunities to improve basic departmental performance and enhance service delivery to the citizens of Madera County were identified. Station 16 in Awani should be closed and consolidated with Station 12 in Oakhurst to serve both response areas. Current Station 16 PCFs will become members of Station 12 in Awani, Station 12 in Oakhurst. The CAL FIRE Awani and Station 12 and Station 16s are all located along Highway 99, providing service from Highway 49, providing service from Nippanawasi through the Oakhurst Basin. Station 16 is located just 0.8 of a mile from the Awani CAL FIRE Station, which is staffed year-round with the county funding this through the state Amador program. Station 16 was dispatched to an average, Station 16 equipment was dispatched 267 times to 911 calls in the area. They responded on an average for 3 years to 38 calls with an average response time of 12 minutes. Station 17 in O'Neill should be closed and consolidated with Station 10 in Yosemite Lakes Park to better serve their response area. The current Station 17 PCFs could become members of Station 10 in Yosemite Lakes Park, Station 11 in North Fork, or Station 7 in Tesoro Viejo. The combining of Station 10 and 17 does not significantly affect the response time for the area, as their service areas are rural in nature and their response times are similar. Station 17 equipment is dispatched an average of 153 times to 911 calls. and responds to an average of 12 calls per year with an average response time of 21 minutes. There are currently several repairs and upgrades needed to other existing stations. The consolidation would save an average operating cost of almost $18,000 a year. The operating cost could be used to improve the existing stations, thereby ensuring a safe place for personnel to work. The consolidation would also reduce the number of facilities that the county will have to project replacing, as several stations are nearing the end of their useful life or are functionally obsolete. With the fire department's formalized equipment replacement plan approved by the board, there will be an additional savings as the number of vehicles needing to be replaced will decrease. This will correspondingly expedite the county becoming compliant with the National Fire Protection Association replacement recommendations, and will also alleviate pressure from our fleet maintenance program, as the reduction in our fleet will reduce the workload. As apparatus age, they become more difficult to maintain with fewer parts available for replacement, and the pumps begin to fail their annual testing. There's also an underutilization of PCFs at Station 10. Station 10 is the largest PCF company in the county and can staff multiple engines and a water tender a day. Adding a water tender and a reserve engine to Station 10 can be accomplished with the convergence of Station 17 with Station 10. This will also give the Station 10 PCFs the resources they need while still reducing the number of apparatus in our fleet. As the county grows and population shifts, so do the priorities of the fire department. Throughout the years, there have been many changes in the fire service within Madera. The Brenda Station was closed and was moved to the Station 3 Madera Acres area. Coarse Gold PCF station was closed, and the members became members of Station 8, 12, and 15. Dairyland was closed and consolidated with Station 2 in Chowchilla. Eastern Arcola Station was closed. Eastside Acre Station was closed, and an automatic aid agreement was formed with the City of Fireball for fire services in that area. And the Ripperden Station was also closed. As volunteerism in the United States continues to decline, this could affect other areas in the county. The fire department will continue to recruit volunteers and look for other means of reducing costs. Other stations of possibly self-closure over the next few years are Chowchilla Station 2 with PCFs, Bass Lake Station 14 with 2 PCFs, Raymond Station with 2 PCFs, and Cedar Valley Station with 3 PCFs. There were some questions by some citizens on ISO, and I know all of you are aware of what ISO is, but it's an Insurance Service Office, and it's a for-profit organization that provides statistical information to insurance companies. A lot of insurance companies use these that don't utilize underwriters to look at the area served. It's a score of 100. 10% is emergency communications, which is our dispatch system. Engine companies, which is 50%, and water supply. And water supply is 40%. I just want to go over a couple of those real quick. For the water flow, you have to have an engine that'll pump 750 gallons a minute at 150 PSI. You have to have six firefighters responding to a structure fire, and they have to arrive on, first unit has to arrive on scene within 5 minutes. The water delivery is our biggest challenge. The ability to deliver 200 gallons of water for 20 minutes, 4,000 gallons of water on an initial alarm to reported structure fires beginning within 5 minutes of the first arriving unit due. Our PCF volunteers through ISO, every 3 PCFs that respond, not that are on the books, count for 1 career firefighter. And they have to respond within 5 minutes. To account for the time needed for notification, travel, and assembly on the fire ground, the credit for each PCF volunteer firefighter is 1/3 of an on-duty firefighter. If you have any other, in closing, this is a very difficult recommendation, but is needed for the better overall service and delivery to the citizens of Madera County. This will improve the accuracy of our dispatches by removing equipment from station 16 and 17 that does not frequently respond. It will also allow budget dollars to be utilized in more effective areas within the county. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. You've done a lot of homework on this. I'm glad you have, because it's very important to the citizens, especially up in the foothills. The best part of that page 3 of your board letter. You didn't read it, but it says the fire department will continue to recruit volunteers and look for other means of reducing costs while providing the safest place to work, live, and play in Madera County. So he had that on. I had to add that on. The buildings, the one in Awani, we rent that?
Yes, the Station 16 in Awani is a rented facility.
Is it on a contract yearly?
We have an
year?
MOU with the landowner, and we have a 90-day cancellation notice. And there
Okay.
was an auxiliary building built on there that the fire chief and the division, the chief at the time, told the PCFs of that company not to have it built, and they had it built anyways. So the county owes that landowner, once we cancel the agreement, about $16,000, which would eat up the first year savings that we could try to reallocate that money.
Okay, because I knew there was something in there. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, so that's 16,000. And then on the station in Station 17, we own one of the buildings, we rent the other one, or is it donated to us or something?
So the Station O'Neill's, there's the older fire station is not currently being utilized by the fire department. We have an office or an office desk and chair and computer in that building, but the main building is the county built the building on school property, and the MOU was the county would utilize it free, and if we ever vacated that building would go back to the school district.
And then the other building, the building we do own, we'll just sell it or give it, see if the school wants to buy it or something, or?
I mean, that'd be up to the board direction, but I mean, you know, there is other facilities in the county fire that need replacement or are becoming obsolete because of the size.
It's the old building, it's not the one.
Correct, the old building.
Right. Okay, good job, thank you.
Any other questions? I'm just gonna ask, because dollar savings is one thing, being more efficient, I get it. Is this better service, is this safer for our residents?
Well, with the average response times of, just say in O'Neill's, average response time is 21 minutes. We can get engines out of the valley, Fresno County, paid stations in the mountains. We can get 10 engines quicker than the 21-minute average response time for that station.
And so right now, so someone calls in O'Neill's, it goes to dispatch, and then dispatch, like how it's set up right now, it goes to that station, but if there's nobody there to take the call, is that, and then taking everybody that much time to get to the station and then go out, is that where the savings is?
Correct. One of the benefits is not having, is if we dispatch a structure response, it's a battalion chief and 4 pieces of apparatus from 4 stations. Right now, Station 17 in O'Neill's, you know, with their average response and response time, they're part of that count. So we dispatch 3 engines and a water tender, and they're part of that count. Once they don't come up after 10 minutes, then we automatically dispatch another resource. So it puts us 10 minutes in the hole, whether they respond or respond within the 20 minutes.
So even though there's going to be closures, the person that's calling 911 for a fire is going to have someone there ultimately quicker than it is the way it's sitting right now. So it's a cost savings, but it's also an enhancement to service delivery?
You're 100% correct. It would enhance the response because we're now going to pull, part of that count for the dispatch will be from a station that responds more frequently or will come out of a staffed fire station.
Wow. So then, you know, I like when it's more efficient and costs less. So thank you for looking into that.
Yeah, and then the 2 PCFs that are at Station 16 in Awani live in the Oakhurst area.
So they would have to go all the way.
So they drive to Awani to pick up a piece of equipment when they do respond to whatever area.
And this way they'll be in our own station there in Oakhurst.
So they could just be in Oakhurst, they could just respond to Oakhurst and.
Yes, they could go right to the Oakhurst Station 12 to pick up a piece of equipment and it would increase that response.
Even to Awani, so if the fire or call is in Awani, instead of them driving from Oakhurst to Awani to get there, it would just be straight to the Oakhurst one and take it to Awani, is that?
That's correct. Okay. And then also the automatic aid agreement, was just approved by the board a couple weeks ago and was also approved by the Mariposa County Board. That'll give us a resource from Mariposa County also coming towards the Ahwahnee area. So, as we look at consolidation, we also look at means to get auto aid or mutual aid from other agencies or from CAL FIRE.
Okay.
Then what was the amount of calls average for the last 2 years on Station 17, O'Neill's? And how many response?
Station 17, we requested equipment from that station over the last 3 years on an average of 153 times, and an average response, they responded 12 times.
So, less than 10%.
So both stations respond less than 10%.
Yeah, because the other was 200 plus, and they responded 38 times, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, so they were a little over 10. They were requested 267 times and responded 38 times.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Great information.
Are there any other questions? If not, any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment portion, bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve?
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt, for the good job you're doing.
Item 7D.
7D, Public Health Department, discussion and consideration of approval to authorize the Public Health Directors to submit an application for public health accreditation through the Public Health Accreditation Board and authorize the chairman to sign.
Good morning.
I'm here this morning requesting a letter of support from the board in pursuing public health accreditation. You know that we have been preparing for this for quite a while, and just for the public who are listening, public health accreditation is a national voluntary process where public health departments are able to demonstrate that they meet standards and measures for strategic action and quality improvement. And so this point in the process requires several different plans that we've been working for 3 years to complete. The first is a community health assessment that was completed in 2017 with a large number of partners that are part of the Live Well Madera County Coalition. And then this last January was the Community Health Improvement Plan that was also accomplished by Live Well Madera County. That was presented to your board and is available on our website, both of those two items available on the public health website for anyone to review. And the third piece, which we've now completed, is a strategic plan for the public health department. And it was a process that I've presented to you in pieces. Of course, the staff were very involved in developing the vision and mission of the department. We did SWOT analysis through every section of the department. We did surveys with the staff about how it is that they implement the vision of the department. And we looked at lots of internal as well as external data. And there's 6 priorities that we're implementing over the next 2.5-year period in the Department of Public Health. And this strategic plan is referenced in the county strategic plan under that Section 8 health section of the county strategic plan to implement this out of our department. So the 6 strategic priorities are community health improvement. This is the outward-facing goal of the plan, and it aligns with the health improvement plan of the community and highlights activities such as increasing healthy food access, reducing smoke-free environment, or increasing smoke-free environments, and improving breastfeeding rates. The second strategic priority is data-driven action and quality improvement. We're currently recruiting for a full-time epidemiologist that's going to help us in being able to better analyze our data and respond to the specific needs of our community. And the third strategic priority is department efficiency. We're doing a lot of things, as you know, in terms of building the new building, but we're going to be, by the time we move, 90% paperless in the department. We're adding electronic health record system, lots of guidelines and procedures that are going to help people kind of modernize our systems. The fourth strategic priority is funding stability. We've had a lot of really great positive things happening in the last few weeks with regards to our funding. We got our largest ever IGT, the Intergovernmental Transfer Program, largest IGT check that we've ever received. It was by the time we get both from Calviva and from Anthem, it's over $2 million more than what we are expecting. And so that program is going to continue next year, and that was a great boost to our department and will really help us with modernizing our systems and also with the new building. The fifth priority is adequate and qualified, motivated workforce, and we're doing a lot to really assess in using a set of competencies that are public health competencies, and really having supervisors and staff look at those competencies per job specification and identify where are the areas in which we need to focus our energies for training and to provide support and really improve the quality of our workforce. The last is communication, and we have done a lot of work to align the department with the county branding, and then also looking at how we can communicate better with our Latino population in particular, to be able to be culturally appropriate and, of course, have everything available in Spanish, and we're also looking at our indigenous populations as well. So the next steps would be we push the button on applying with your letter of support before June 30th. That's our deadline. And then we are going to we have 1 year from that time to upload all of our documentation to demonstrate that we meet a lot of standards for accreditation. And then after that year's time, it's reviewed by a site visit committee, and then they come and they visit us in person. And so that's something that we'd like to have you a part of, as well as our site visit in a year's time. So I also wanted to introduce to you our accreditation coordinator. This is Marisol Torres. Prior to Marisol, Jose Arizola, who you might have met in the past, was our accreditation coordinator, and so I would be remiss to not recognize his hard work. He left the county for a private industry opportunity. That was great for him. And our assistant director, Stephanie Nathan, has also been working along Marisol, working very hard. And of course, the department as a whole, really every individual in the department was a part of putting together the vision, the mission, the strategic plan, and it's really been a coordinated effort. But I wanted to invite Marisol to make a few comments.
Good morning, members of the board and Mr. Chairman. My name is Marisol Torres, and I am been in the Madera County Public Health Department for about 9 years. I started off as an office assistant and been promoted throughout the years to currently a health education coordinator. And I was born and raised in Madera, so I'm a Maderan, class of 99, go Coyotes. And I graduated from Fresno State in 2008. And I am looking forward to continue working with the accreditation efforts here in our county. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any
All right,
questions?
Any questions?
Great job.
Good job. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Call closed to public comment.
Move to approve.
Second?
Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Big deal.
Live well.
Yeah.
Seven E.
7E, Public Health Department, CMSB Health Systems Development Grant Program. 1, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with County Medical Services Program Governing Board in the amount of $293,616 for public health care delivery capacity to provide specialty clinical and public health lab services for Madera CMSB eligible and Medi-Cal population for fiscal years 2019 through 2023, and authorize the chairman to sign 4 copies of the grant agreement. 2, discussion and consideration of approval to authorize the public health director to sign 4 copies of Exhibit D of the governing board grantee data sheet. 3, discussion and consideration of approval to authorize the public health director to sign any subsequent documents that are necessary to execute this agreement or accept additional funding.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melody Keller, and I'm the Deputy Director of Clinical and Nursing Services here at the Public Health Department. I'm here this morning to let you know of some exciting news
and updates occurring in our department, particularly as it relates to our public health laboratory and clinical services division. Here's the exciting news. Number one, the new Health and Human Services complex is slated to be completed this fall 2019. That means we may be moving, our public health department may be moving as early as October or November of this year. News number two. Last month, we were awarded a CMSP grant by the County Medical Services Program Governing Board totaling over $293,000.
Wow.
The money from this grant will be used to purchase needed medical equipment for our new public health laboratory and clinics. This will facilitate significant upgrades to our public health service delivery. For those of you who are not aware, our public health laboratory provides on-site lab services as directed by state statute that primarily supports our TB, STD, immunization, and communicable disease programs. The lab results and disease assessments produced by our public health laboratory both guides and empowers our community health partners, health officer, clinic staff, our epidemiologist, and communicable disease investigation team with information to treat, to mitigate, and respond to infectious diseases and outbreaks in our community. Essential services provided by our public health laboratory include, but are not limited to, rabies, valley fever, syphilis, water, drug testing, TB testing, and testing of all Title 17 mandated reportable diseases, such as Zika, measles, cholera, anthrax. Again, we are extremely excited to have been awarded the funds from the CMSP grant to update our lab and medical equipment in our department to further our prevention services in our community. I'd like to give a special shout out to our public health laboratory team who are with us today. I wanted to recognize them for their hard work and for their silent but mighty role in keeping our community safe. And so behind me is Sinoon Hong. She's our microbiologist.
Hello, my name is Sinoon Hong. Pleased to meet you.
And I'll have Jerry, our director, come. And Steve.
Good morning. Jerry Peterson, Public Health Lab Director.
Good morning, Board. And I'm Eric Orem. I'm a lab technician in Madera County Public Health.
Thank you.
And combined with just these three, we have over 60 years of laboratory experience.
Wow, that's great.
Any questions?
Thank you for keeping us safe.
Yeah, no kidding. Chief. I just got one statement, Brett. Did you guys put in for this grant, or did you, they just know you're doing such a great job that they just said, hey, Madera County likes a lot of those things we've gotten, you know, from the state stuff?
This was a competitive application process
It was
from
a
the
competitive
CMSP
one.
board. Mhm.
Good job, team.
All right,
Thank you.
What brands do you know just come and give you the money? 'Cause let's get them.
Well, the state, after we took the money to build our expansion on the jail, they
That's
came
true.
to us and said, hey,
You want some
we
more?
got some
That's
more.
true.
If you want to do that, the laundry and the kitchen, we said, we'll take it.
We'll
So,
take it.
'cause we're out in front trying to do better things for our people. Best place to work, live, and play. Waiting for you to move to Madera.
All right, is there any more comment, any public comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment.
Move to approve items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
I missed it.
All right,
Thank you
7F.
guys so much.
Thank you.
7F, Treasurer Tax Collector Department, introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 3.46 and 3.20 of Title III of the Madera County Code pertaining to certain fees and charges the Treasurer Tax Collector and pertaining to the transient occupancy tax ordinance of the county.
What's your name?
Good morning, Tracy Kennedy, Madera County Treasurer Tax Collector, and here with me is Jacqueline Torres, and she put together the board item. In short, it's a good thing. We are correcting some fees that were stated wrong on a previous ordinance. We're increasing some fees, and we're establishing some new fees to make our budget officer, Joel Begay, a little happier to recover some of our costs. Anyway, if you have any questions, Jackie would be glad to answer them.
Please limit the questions.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Any questions?
No, everything on it looked good. I think that some of these people are trying to hide from us, and I think they've done a good job catching them and making sure they do get those notices out that they got to pay us. They're not going to get away for free. They don't get to keep that money they collect.
Right. And they're collecting it, but not turning it in.
Not turning it in to us, right. Now, you guys are doing a good job on that, I tell you. When the people complaining that they're bugging them, I think that's good.
What do they think business is all about?
I know.
We all do.
Any public comment regarding this item? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for keeping her in mind.
Does an excellent job, I might
I
add.
know.
7G.
7G, Treasurer Tax Collector Department, introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 5.04 of the Title V of the Madera County Code pertaining to business license annual renewal cycle dates.
Good morning, Tracy Kennedy, Madera County Treasurer Tax Collector. This is something that we've really been working on and considering for a year or more, and that is changing the cycles from month to month to 2 annual cycles, one in August and one in February. The reason we do that is that we had, years ago, if you recall, it was an annual renewal, one time in December to January. We sent out the bills in December, and everybody renewed in January. And then we would prorate them in between if they applied. What the unintended consequence of that was every time we started a new license, we had to send a notification. The next month, if they didn't pay, we had to send out a reminder notice. The next month, if they didn't pay, then we had more work to do because then we had to purge them after we sent out a final notice. So instead of decreasing our work by doing it month to month, which I thought, would be better for the business license holders, it really, it was too big of a work impact, which Jackie says it's not, what do you say? It's not a nightmare, it's a challenge. So anyway, so this was something that we finally came up with. We spoke to planning, Matt Trieber and his shop about if it would impact him at all. And he said, no, he's 100% in favor of whatever works best for our shop. So, and I think I spoke to a few of you, it's not going to negatively impact any of our business license holders because we don't want to do that. And so anyway, we developed the cycle, as you'll see the little arrows, so kind of depending on when they apply, depending on what cycle that they'll enter.
Yeah, that was my only question, was to make sure that if someone's starting a business, this isn't what's holding them up getting the, and that was my only, if it's more efficient for your office, great, but if it makes it more inefficient for somebody trying to start a business, and you said it has no
No, it
impact
won't
on
have,
that
it
at all.
will
And-
prorate any fee that they pay, put them into the next cycle,
Perfect.
because they have to go through planning to get the application
Get in,
approved.
right.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? Seen any public comment regarding this item? I'll call close to public comment.
I'll make a motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Good
Thank
job
you.
again, Jackson.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Good job,
Tracy,
Jack.
too.
All right, pending legislation. Is there any pending legislation?
Good morning, Supervisors. Todd Miller, Auditor Controller. I have with me Jim Boyajian, who's here for history and detailed explanation. Basically, the story is that in 2016, the county underwent an audit by the state, and I'll let Jim fill in the details, but the state determined that we were doing a certain procedure wrong and had significantly overpaid them. As it turns out, thank goodness for Jim's history here, we were doing it exactly the way the state had told us to perform this function 10 years earlier, and had done so even though we knew it was wrong, but we were told specifically, this is how you will do it. In the current audit, they says, oh yeah, you've overpaid us a lot. We were able to go back a few years to get money back, but we have determined we overpaid the state approximately $3 million and have been attempting to recover that money. We were advised to reach out by the state to reach out to our local legislator and have his office aid us in recapturing this money. In 2016 and in 2018, we sent Frank Bigelow's office letters of explanation. We've called, about every 6 months, we call to follow up, and we have never received a response. So I would like Jim to give you a little more detail since I gave you the Cliff Notes version.
Back again, Supervisors, Jim Boyajian, Assistant Auditor Controller, retired. As Todd has explained, he's given the 30,000-foot explanation. I'll give you a little more detail. It's a little bit different. The vehicle lease license fee is the issue. It's a calculation that we do to take property taxes in lieu of the county receiving what they used to receive from the vehicle license fees collected by the Department of Motor Vehicles. In 2005-06, they established this procedure to claim the property taxes and apportion it to the county, through the county. And the state controller's office came through and examined the setup that we had per their instructions, how to calculate this. And they said, you're on track to do it correctly. Well, as it turned out, I entered the numbers, we reviewed them, and they appeared to be correct. Unfortunately, at some point, and I cannot answer how it happened, but someone went in to that file. These are Excel files. All these calculations have to be done on spreadsheets. There's no software that will do it. Someone had gone in and erroneously changed the numbers with additional numbers. So that initial calculation shorted the county $300,000. The problem there with that then is that $300,000 is factored forward every year and added. It increases as property tax values increase in the county. So by the time 9 years of that calculation had gone through, we had apportioned a total of close to $1.8 billion, and the error for the county was $4 million. We were able to recoup, according to the state's regulations, $1 million of that, because they limit your recovery to 1% of the 1% tax, which means 1/10,000. You can recoup 1/10,000th of an error.
Crazy.
Which, yeah, it's a small error. It's less than 1%, but it was for 9 years.
Right.
So the legislative analyst office suggested that we pursue a legislative route, because other counties have done similar
Got their
legislative, right, to redress the loss of revenue. And of course, Todd is correct, the state was actually enriched by this error, but it's a little more complicated. The money went actually to the schools.
Wow.
Because we take the money for VLF away from the school property taxes that are portioned to the schools. So our local schools got that money, but in reality they didn't, because the state just backfilled them less. So it was the state that benefited. Anyway, as Todd said, we wrote to Frank, and Todd actually spoke to Frank on the phone, and I spoke to Frank's office several times, and we still have not had a response.
So we should maybe send a letter from our board there, maybe CC.
The board just too.
Yeah. Everyone good with that?
To Borges too?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Borges and Frank from the board, and you guys have drafted up, then we'll.
We have.
Sign it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do it.
Thank you for the info, man. It's crazy.
Thank you.
Throw a cow in it, that'll help. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm here to get a thumbs up or thumbs down on two letters, one of support and one in opposition. The first one is to support Camarina's Health's application for oral health infrastructure funding. This is a grant opportunity that they have, and they gave me some examples of what this money will go towards, and there is upgrades to the dental center in Oakhurst, as well as one of their dental centers here in Madera.
Let's take
the
that
city
one
of
first.
Madera.
Everyone good with that?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that one's good.
And then the second is an opposition letter to Assembly Bill 1713 that seeks to lower the BAC, the blood alcohol content limit for from 0.08 to 0.05. And the reason for opposition for this is that pending a study that they did in Scotland, they found that this doesn't actually change the amount of fatal accident figures. It doesn't change the amount of people driving severely under the influence. What it does is tend to put people who are not under the influence and not reaching that limit and not a threat in legal trouble, lowering that.
Yeah, it's dropping from 08 to 05, so that's almost any one of us with one beer, we could get caught drunk. And if you look at all the backs up, most of the sheriffs and high patrolmen aren't for it either, so I just think.
Yeah, law enforcement isn't behind it. It creates a
boondoggle.
It ends up creating a pretty good backlog in the courts as well,
Right.
dealing with that. And there is no significant findings that show that it increases safety at all.
Correct.
Yep. Thumbs up for me.
I just have a question. I was just kind of curious who approached us to oppose this bill.
Me. I
Okay.
seen it in the Fresno Bee.
Okay.
And I just said, this is crazy. So I did it actually and gave it to her to research. I wanted her to find out all the history for me, so she gave it to me. And I said, we got to go move forward, you know. There's the National Traffic Safety, it's the last sentence in the first paragraph, just read that, shows that the majority of alcohol-related accident fatalities are a result of a driver with a BAC of 10.10. So it's just, I mean, I don't drink much anyway, but if I have one drink, I don't want to be worried about, you know, getting stopped and be caught for drunk driving at 0.05, so.
I was just looking at it, says the general limit in California, of course, is 0.08, but the commercial drivers, it's 0.04.
Right, well, that's
Yeah.
different for commercial drivers, I agree with that, they shouldn't have any drinks, or anything besides drinks. I had a Class 1 license for 20 years, so.
Okay.
And I really watched it then, boy. Not that I don't now, but. Anyway,
Right, just curious.
are you okay with it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
just, it looks like it's not, I mean, there's, it's called Liam's Law, and it's I mean, there's some that say there's data that shows that it supports, and there's other data that says it's not. We went to Scotland, and look, there's got to be a joke in there somewhere, but
Yeah.
anyway.
At least it wasn't Ireland, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She done her homework on it, so,
Yeah, she went all the way to Scotland.
yeah.
On the county, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we paid for it, so.
Good. No, that did not happen.
No,
Let the record reflect that there was no trip to Scotland.
No. She just done her homework on research to find out about it for sure, so. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
All right, anything else? Seeing no more pending legislation. Supervisor and staff reports, Supervisor Poitras,
Nothing to report.
Supervisor Rodriguez.
Nothing to report.
Well, we're gonna
No report,
bat
Chairman.
1,000. Nothing to report for me, and at that, I'll adjourn this meeting at 11:30.
One thing I think we ought to put
Oh,
on this
it's
calendar is the hearings for the budget. It's not on here.
Okay, we'll make sure it's on the next ones.
Yeah, it needs to be on there because people need to start knowing it's
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
where
be.
there actually just
the
says, yep,
Do you agree?
I do.
Thumbs up.
I'll be Skyping into that meeting.